Simple and compound interest is quite an easy subject and scores well in exams. And it's useful in life. When you borrow money, you have to pay interest. When you save money in a bank, I hope you're given interest. And there are two ways of calculating interest. One is simple interest. Here, the interest is only paid on the initial amount, either lent or deposited. The same interest is paid each and every year. Compound interest is more interesting. Interest is added to the account, and next year interest is paid on the interest too. Let's look at simple interest again. Savings interest is only paid on the initial amount. So imagine you save £1,000 at 3% simple interest. Each year, 3% times 1,000, or 0.03 times 1,000, or £30 is paid or added to your account. After 10 years, the account holds £1,000, which are your initial money, plus 10 payments of 30, which is £1,300. Nice. Compound interest, however, is different. Save £1,000 at 3% compound interest. We end up with £1,000 to start. At the end of the year, the account holds 1,000 times 1.03. 1,030, the same as simple interest. The next year interest is paid on the interest too. So I did have 1,000 times 1.03 in the bank, and now I multiply all of that by 1.03, which is equal to 1,060 and 90 pence, just a little bit more than you would have with simple interest. But after 10 years, the account has grown to 1,000 times 1.03 to the power 10, and that is equal to 1,300 plus £43.92p. Notice that the 10 years is the same as the power to which I am putting the compound interest function 1.03, because every year it rolls up by an extra 3%. At the end of 10 years with simple interest, 3% account is going to hold 1,300, so we've got more if we get compound interest with the same rate of interest. How do we remember it? Well, simple interest is a bit simple. The same interest is paid each year. Compound interest is complex and a calculation is needed. Compound interest tends to occur in the calculator questions. Simple interest tends to occur in the non-calculator questions. Let's have a look at this one then. This is a real question. 4,200 is borrowed at 2% simple interest. It's going to all be paid back at the end of 5 years. So have a think. Simple or compound? It's simple. The rate 2% and the term or the length 5 years. Right. So let's see how much we pay each year. 4,000 times 2 over 100. That of course is 2%. Now these two zeros here and here cancel. So that's 42 times 2. £84 a year. I'm paying it for 5 years, so that's 84 times 5, 420, and when I pay back, I pay the original sum as well. So that's 4,200 plus the interest, 4,620. Now, it did occur to me after I'd done that, there is another way, a simpler way of doing it. Each year I'm paying 2%, and there's 5 years, so 2% times 5 is equal to 10%, that's the interest. 4,200 times 10% is 4,020. Bit easier this way. And again, I have to pay the lump sum that I borrowed plus the interest. So that's 4,620. Nice. Have a little think. Term, rate, length, simple or compound. These are the questions you ask yourself. Calculate what the annual charge is. If necessary, multiply it up, or be clever and multiply up the percentage rate you're paying and work it out that way. Here's a longer question. £125 is invested. In 3 years it makes £9 simple interest. How many years will it make? 36. Okay, well, have a think. Is it simple, compound? It is definitely simple. The rate we don't know and the length we don't know, but we are looking to make 36 and we've made 9 in 3 years. We've made 9 in 3 years and we want 36. Let's see, 36 over 9. I need to hold it for 4 times as long. In 3 years, I've made 9, so 4 times 3 equals 12. And after I'd done that, I realised maybe this wasn't the most obvious way of doing it. We've earned £9 in 3 years, so every year we've earned £3. I want to make £36, so I need to hold it for 36 divided by 3, 12 years. However you do it, then we move on to the second question. However you do it, it's now done. It's 12 years. The next question. I've invested 20,000. I'm getting a fixed rate, a simple return each year, so it's the same payment each year, and after 5 years I have a total of 4,000 interest payments. Okay, so that's after 5 years. So annually I am paying 4,000 divided by 5. I'm paying £800, being paid £800 a year on an investment of 20,000. So my rate of interest is going to be 800 divided by 20,000. Again, I can knock off a couple of zeros to get to 8 over 200, which is 4 over 100. And as you know, that is 4%. So that's my rate of return. Should in fact have just written 4% there. Don't know why I didn't. Have a little think, do a little calculation. For goodness sake, get it into percentages. Although this won't lose you a mark. So maybe I'll just leave it like that. I don't care. Right, that is your question. Now we move on to something more interesting. Compound question. Simple or compound? Well, it's compound. The rate changes. I'm investing £5,000 for 9 years. The first 5 years I'm getting 2%. The rest I am getting 1.3. There is a very simple formula for this. It's 9 years. So 5,000 times 1.02 to the 5. That's how much money I'll make after 5 years. 1.02, that is the rate of interest. And I've got it for 5 years, so I've got the 5. But I've also got it now at 1.3 for the remainder of the 9 years. 9 minus 5 is 4, so that's multiplied that by 1.031. 13, I should say, to the 4. Right, where's that come from? Well, that is 1.3% added to 1. And I multiply that. I've multiplied each of these little numbers out because it's so much easier to spot a mistake. 1.02 to the 5 is going to be something like 1.1, a bit more, so there we are. And this is going to be something like 1.05, and it is. So then I finish it off. That's £5,813, 11p. That is a very simple question for 4 marks. The key to it is knowing this equation. The amount of money times 1.0x, if it's an X% investment, to the term of the investment. That's the formula. We'll look at that again. Simple calculation, 4 marks. Thank you very much. So there we go. If you enjoyed that, why not subscribe? And if you didn't enjoy it, why not subscribe? Best of luck.